Kansas City, our thoughts and prayers absolutely go out to the 10 to 15 people who were injured and the one person who was unalived, unfortunately, in today's victory rally and parade for the Kansas City Chiefs. I can only imagine what that is like. You're celebrating your team, world champions, and of all things to take place, that is like the worst possible outcome that anybody could think or that anybody could expect to have occur. Oh my gosh. Police officers and police force did everything that they could to mitigate the issue as best they could and best they knew. It's just so funny because I remember just last night watching officers talk about how they were preparing for the parade, and they were just talking about how they have everything in place and everything is set and nothing's going to get by them. They actually said those words, and it's weird how that stuck with me because I was thinking in the back of my mind, but what if? And I was hoping that what if would never occur. So your boy Seven doesn't need to have any sort of impact on this, and I'm not saying I did, but I'm just saying, like, none of my thoughts need to come to fruition when that's what they are. You know what I'm saying? Especially, or anybody else's for that matter. I mean, because 1 second I'm sitting there, so I didn't attend the rally at all. I was at work, but I did have it on another monitor while I was doing other things. So looking at the monitor, 1 minute I'm seeing Travis Kelce on stage drunkenly trying to sing "I Got Friends in Low Places," and then I go to the door, come back. Next thing I know, everybody is running and scattering. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe everything ended abruptly. I don't know what happened. And then I look at the chyron across the bottom of the screen and I'm saying, wait, why is there a shooting taking place in Kansas City? What happened? So here's what we know so far. Right now, it's reported that 12 patients are at Children's Mercy right now, 11 being children, and 9 of them have gunshot wounds. So thankfully, nothing has taken place with any of the Chiefs players or any of the personnel staff. Neither the governor nor the mayor or any of his staff or their staffs were hurt as a result of this. But this is just a huge blemish on what was an absolutely festive day. The sun is shining. Everybody's out. You got a huge crowd, thousands and thousands of people sitting there in Union Station, and it all got to be ruined by whatever that was. I'm hopeful that the city and the team can recover from this. Definitely not the way that you want to spend your Valentine's Day. But we'll have to leave it right there. And if there's any other developments, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Tonight, your boy Trump's negotiation tactic. Pay up or Putin gets a free pass. It's the art of the deal, folks. It's the art of the deal. Nate studies Fani's Fani in between reading Rico Law for Dummies. Dude, that OnlyFans chick, she's a killer, man. Yeah, but wait until you meet her parents. It's Black History Month. Who's disrespecting us now? Find that out and what else we're talking about on this week's episode of The Blackman Show. Welcome to the... Let's go. What is good? What is good? Ladies and gentlemen, I am Seven Blackman, and this is The Blackman Show, a place where we can dissect the news with a little bit of 7 cents. Now, before we get into it, I want you to know that last week was absolutely not a fluke. I want to make sure that you know that I am here with you, at least to the end of Black History Month. Maybe longer, we'll see how it all works out, depending on participation. But with that said, how are you doing? Seriously, remember the scale from 1 to 5, where 5 is horrible, and we're specifically looking at it from a state of physically, spiritually, financially, and mentally, right? It doesn't have to be in that order, but however it works out for you, right? But where are you on that scale? Like, leave your comments so that way we can all get beyond the stigma of a little check-in, you know what I'm saying? And not like on the Snoop Dogg check-in, you need to check in. Not like that. Just to let folks know how you're doing. Just that, you know what I'm saying? But I'll be sure to give you all my info at the end of the show. Now, this is definitely for the men, but ladies, please, all 3 of you, feel free to join in on the fun. I don't want y'all feeling left out. I'm hoping we can eventually help one another to get through when you'll be all right just ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? But with no further ado, let us continue. So my wife and I were a little bored this past weekend, so we thought we'd invite a few of the fam to come through and maybe catch a little bit of the game. You know, good thing we're in Kansas City already, because that was literally the only thing that you could do. Now, I know some of you all aren't the best of friends with things like fun, fashion, famous people, or football. Sorry. So feel free to fast forward to this time right here, so that way you can catch the rest of the news. But in the meantime, I'll be doing my best job at making this as painless as possible if you all are sticking through. I mean, there was just like so much to take away from the event. And I mean, even outside of the fact that the Chiefs won over the San Francisco 49ers 25-22 in overtime in what was a hell of a game and matchup. And if the NFL script writers can be believed, this was at least Emmy worthy, right? I mean, wait, what? Don't act like I'm the only one. So one thing that really seemed to hit the interwebs in terms of Super Bowl theories and predictions was the 13 theory. Have you all heard of this? Well, if you haven't, here's a little gist.
Super Bowl is this? It's 58. You know what 5 plus 8 is?
13.
It's Taylor Swift's album called 13.
Yo! Dang!
You guys know the date of the Super Bowl?
It's the 11th.
Yeah.
Of?
February.
11 plus 2.
Yeah.
Yo!
Who are they playing?
The 49ers.
It's 4 plus 9.
Dude, come on. 13.
I'm just saying. What seed are the 49ers?
The 1 seed.
What seed are the Chiefs?
The 2 seed.
No, the 3.
1
1,
and 3.
13.
This dude is so stupid.
Where's Taylor Swift coming from? She's coming from Tokyo to the Super Bowl.
What does that mean?
A flight from Tokyo to Las Vegas.
It's 13 hours.
It's 13 hours.
This is
And I'm not even kidding.
What the
You know how many games Taylor Swift has been to?
13?
12.
This is the 13?
The Super Bowl will be the 13.
Is this all true? Or
Yeah, no, this is all for real.
And on top of all that, how about the 49ers, or are they really the San Francisco 13s? Tied at 19, received the overtime kickoff and ended their 13-play drive to get the field goal and go up by 3. Only to be outmatched by Kansas City, who also had a 13-play drive to get the go-ahead and winning touchdown. I mean, if anybody was superstitious, Sunday was the day to watch the game with your 13 black cats under somebody's ladder after breaking the mirror. And yeah, contrary to what some believe, Taylor Swift was actually shown 13 times as well. Sorry, Big Brother H. I'm sorry. I know you said a different number, but it was actually 13. And of course, no Super Bowl can be complete without a halftime show that either propels the performers into a set of tour dates or sends them back into obscurity. And this year is no different, thanks to Usher Raymond's stellar performance, replete with skating and Alicia Keys sighting, a voice crack, and Usher happy home ruining. Theories, that is. Just theories, regardless of what this pose may be saying to you. Coincidentally, Usher actually got married over the weekend to longtime girlfriend Jennifer Goycochea. So the man's got 2 marriages already under his belt, right? Going 2 years with the first woman, Tamika Foster, 3 years with Grace Harry. Here's to wishing that at least this time around he get a 4 for 4. I mean, you know, at least 4 years from 2024. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. Quit playing. Now, also in attendance at the game was one Beyonce Knowles Carter. Rings a bell. Huh? I'm not sure where I've heard the name. Is that the sister that's dropping a country album hinted by her Verizon ad? Well, if anybody can break in, let's hope that the Child of Destiny has more success than T-Pain and K. Michelle have had so far. But with that, what was your favorite part of the Super Bowl? Go ahead and light up the comment section, but please be simple. There's always next year, right? Right, Bears? Right? So at a recent rally, your boy Donald J. Drumpf, man known for grabbing, snitching, not paying, but somehow getting away with everything, this guy recently suggested that he would encourage Russia to attack any NATO member that fails to pay its bills as part of the Western military alliance. Now, That's a statement that's sure to raise a few eyebrows. Now, for those who need a refresher, NATO is a North Atlantic Treaty Organization and is a political and military alliance between 30 North American and European countries. It's like the world's most exclusive club, and the price of admission is a commitment to collective defense, basically. And now that means an attack against one another is considered an attack against everybody. So suggesting that one member could be left to fend for themselves if they don't pay up, that's just kind of wild, ain't it?
That's crazy.
But here's the kicker. This isn't about the money. This is about the principle of collective defense, which is at the heart of NATO's founding treaty.
I had to warn you too many times about my money, Smokey. It's the principle of the whole thing. It's principalities in this.
By suggesting that he would encourage Russia to attack any NATO member that fails to pay its bills, Trump is basically undermining the very foundation of NATO. It's like saying, hey, I know you don't pay your peon fee, so hey, I can't be responsible for what some guys do if they find out. Be ashamed if you lose your country real quick. And while this might sound like something straight out of a comedy sketch, the implications are very real. I mean, the comments aren't just about NATO. They're about relationships between countries, between allies, leaders, you know what I'm saying? And just like in any relationship, communication is key. Hello. to all y'all out there, you know what I'm talking about. But you can't just threaten to encourage an attack if somebody doesn't pay up. That's not how alliances work. But for right now, that's where I'm gonna leave it. Your boy Trump is just wild out here. But you know, I'm gonna leave you with this one. Why exactly do we or should we care about the ramblings of a proven deranged sociopath, hell-bent on power and saying whatever he thinks is gonna win, especially while he's fighting cases on top of cases? I mean, what does it say about our justice system that Pookie is arrested for $5,000 in child support, right? But Trump, who's currently in debt for, estimates say, up to $2 billion, is still walking around without an ankle monitor? Wild times, y'all. Wow. Now, in the world of politics, there's a storm a-brewing. The eye of this storm, Fani Willis, the Fulton County District Attorney, who's leading a case against none other than one President Donald J. Trump. Now, why would there be a case against Trump in Georgia? I'm sure you're wondering. Well, it all basically boils down to a phone call and a request for 11,780 votes. So early in 2021, Trump, in a recorded phone call, urged Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, to find 11,780 votes. Now, this number was just like pulled out of thin air. It was the precise number that he would need to overturn his election loss in Georgia. So this act, seen by many as an attempt to fraudulently stay in office, led to Trump and 18 others being indicted on charges including racketeering, conspiracy, and more. This is where things get stupid. Bear with me. Enter one Nathan Wade, a family lawyer with zero RICO legislation experience. None. Shout out to the lead attorney. So Willis promoted Wade to work on this high-profile case. But here's the kicker. Willis and Wade were more than just colleagues. They had a personal relationship. You see what I'm saying? So this relationship is throwing a wrench into the entire proceedings with allegations of conflict of interest being raised. And the defense actually has a witness on their side who is willing to testify to the establishment of the relationship between these two well before they admitted that it happened. So Trump's defensive team is arguing that the relationship affects the investigation. They claim that Willis's promotion of Wade, who was less than qualified for the role, was influenced by their personal relationship. This, they argue, is grounds for dismissal of the case altogether. Now, Willis, however, has refuted these claims, acknowledging the relationship, but stating that it began after Wade had been retained to work on the case. She also argued that there are no grounds to dismiss the case or to remove her from prosecution. But the plot thickens. Willis was indeed supposed to turn over some documents for an upcoming hearing proving the status of her relationship, as well as showing that hers and Wade's travel wasn't on the taxpayer's dime. However, as of the latest reports, these documents have not been turned over. On top of that, Wade is divorcing his wife of 27 years. Conveniently, after Willis hired him, but telling her absolutely nothing about how much he was getting paid. So God only knows what's gonna happen in those divorce proceedings, right? Now, records indicate that he was paid substantially more than the other special prosecutors at $250 an hour with no experience versus the colleague who was placed under him, pause, who does have the experience, who's only being billed at $100 an hour. So is it just about like who you slanging it to? That's how you determine if you can. Add to that the fact that he has billed more than $500,000 to the county for work on the case. Look, it's been reported that the dude has been paid approximately $653,880 to date. At 200, I'm in the wrong business. And yes, there are allegations that Wade used this money to lavish Willis with trips and expensive getaways. Bank statements reveal that Wade funded at least 2 plane trips for the both of them, further complicating the case and raising questions about the integrity of the investigation. Now, the saga has added another layer of complexity to an already contentious case. So Judge Scott McAfee is going forward with a hearing to determine if Willis should even remain on the case. And I just know your boy Drumpf is champing at the bit and laughing his ass off because he can't wait to be at the hearing to see how it all is going to play out. So it remains to be seen how this is going to impact the proceedings and the potential outcomes. But one thing is for sure though, right? The case is far from over and we'll be watching closely as it unfolds. But with that, I'll just ask you, actually you Fani, what the hell were you thinking? What were you thinking? What would the man's a family attorney with 0 RICO experience that you're screwing for pleasure? Hopefully it's for pleasure. Because right now he's kind of screwed. But and you determined that this man, his first major role should be trying to indict a former president of the United frickin' States. No. No.
Use your common sense.
So in Barbers Hill High School in Mont Belvieu, Texas, a small town of about 8,300 people, a young man named Daryl George is making waves. And I wish it was because of his hairbrush, because then this wouldn't even be a story. But no, this young man's crime is having locks, neatly shaped, lined up, and out of the way on top of his head. So what to us is a proud symbol of his heritage is now a cause for criminal activity, apparently. So here's the deal. The school district's dress code forbids male students from wearing their hair in a style that would allow it to extend below the top of a t-shirt collar, below the eyebrows, or below the earlobes when let down. They argue that it isn't in violation of the Crown Act, which is basically now a Texas law that prevents discrimination based on hairstyles. But with Daryl, they're not attacking him over the style. It's over the length. And you know, ladies, it's really about the length, right? Now, as somebody who had locks once upon a time, shut up, and who based his master's thesis on black hair in corporate America, this is so freaking close to home.
If your hair is relaxed, white people are relaxed. Your hair is nappy, they're not happy.
I mean, it's not like I didn't have the accoutrement of corporate anytime I go to an interview. I had the suit, I had the tie, the dope resume, the winning smile, and my locks, as well as the last name Blackman. So let your imagination run wild. I mean, somehow, even when armed with stellar credentials and experience, there was always some little female, often white, hiring manager telling me through her body language, if not blatantly, that I wasn't the guy. I mean, one was so taken aback by my presence that she stood there, frozen, stiffly shaking my hand, saying, "Oh, so you're Mr. Blackman." Okay. Long story short, I didn't get the job, but I digress. Now, this treatment isn't just about hair. It's about the broader issue of being able to be oneself in a society that often demands conformity. I mean, this struggle can follow us into adulthood, leading to a phenomenon known as code switching. I kind of touched on that on the last episode. I mean, it's like being a chameleon, you know, constantly changing your colors to fit in. But I think it's kind of shitty, personally, to realize that your original color, your original shade, ain't on the approved list, However, in a recent article, it says the constant need to code switch can have its toll on a person. Black employees are 3 times more likely to code switch than white employees, and nearly half of black employees see code switching as a necessity at work. And that's similar to the 1/3 in the study outlined in last week's story who do so hoping to get better or at least marginal treatment from the doctors. Now, this constant self-monitoring and adaptation can lead to significant and emotional strain, as well as forced conformity. And I'm not just talking about in corporate America. It's the American way and deeply rooted in America's history. Native Americans were forced to attend assimilation boarding schools, which was a brutal attempt to, quote, kill the Indian in him and save the man, end quote. Now, to that end, Barbers Hill Superintendent Greg Poole defended the school dress code against Daryl George, saying, quote, being an American requires conformity, end quote.
When they talk, they say the whole word like this.
Now, I'm sorry, do you mean to tell me that if I were to speak in an unbroken vernacular with a determined lexicon, inclusive only of the most wholesome of quips about my ability to perform the tasks as required of the role, I would have been more successful, or at least successful enough to be less of a threat in your eyes so that I can now be one of the good guys? How far exactly does that go? Because personally, I call bullshit. I call bullshit on all that. And second of all, what gall does this dude have? So you're basically saying that this kid isn't even an American. So it takes conformity? Greg? What big chops did you have to go under? Greg? This kid is born, raised in America, speaking English, already discriminated against before graduation. I mean, if they even allow him to. And this kid ain't American? Considering how Americans were originally the copper-colored aboriginal peoples of this land, I'd say this kid is more American than you are, Greg. Now, we've already seen this mindset in practice, leading to the marginalization and mistreatment of people looking like me, who, darn it, just need to conform a little bit more. Just a little bit more. I mean, one such example is the case of Fani Lou Hamer, right? A civil rights leader who in 1961 received a hysterectomy by a white doctor without her consent while undergoing surgery to remove a uterine tumor. Now, this forced sterilization of black women was so widespread, right, that it dubbed it a Mississippi appendectomy. Like, is this a conformity that you're talking about, Greg? This is what we need? What about the Tuskegee experiment? What about just comply and you won't die? I mean, this horrific practice is a testament to the extreme lengths that have been taken to control and suppress African Americans in the United States. Now, I could go on, but I'll just say the story of Daryl George, the history of the Native Americans, and the ordeal of one Fani Lou Hamer are all, in my mind, interconnected. They remind me of the importance of challenging conformity, celebrating diversity, not necessarily that DEI stuff. That's some other stuff. But also advocating for the right of every individual to be themselves. And while this young man awaits a court decision to go to school, the school's already dug in their heels, not allowing the student to remain in class in the interim. One can only imagine what sort of impact that this will have on a young man's future. I personally hope that he becomes a lawyer, sues the shit out of the entire independent school district, wins, and moves right next door to one Greg. Or better yet, he buys the house right from under him. One can only hope. But with that, what are your thoughts on Daryl, the ISD down there in Texas, and everything that's going on? I swear, they always got something going on. Yeah, always. So I wanted to dive into the latest developments in the Courtney Clenney unaliving case, a story that's been making waves across the nation. Now, first of all, Courtney Clenney, an OnlyFans model, is currently facing charges for the unaliving of her boyfriend, Christian Apumseli. The incident occurred on April 3rd, 2022. She admits to the stabbing, but maintains that she was just acting in self-defense, because these pictures are from self-defense. And when you hear from these parents of hers, you understand that the fruit is hella close to this damn tree.
My bad, I forgot to tell you that. That doesn't make you an acting come here. Yes, thank you. Coming from, thank you.
She told me why she called him that. because she wanted him to leave. And she said no self-respecting black man would stick around after being called that name. So she thought that was a way to get him to leave.
Obviously didn't work.
She liked him partly because he was black. I believe if Courtney were black or if Christian were white, we would not be here.
So the case is taking a new twist with the recent arrest of her parents, Deborah and Kim Clenney. Now, Kim is the guy, is her father. So you see, the Clenneys are facing charges of unauthorized access to Christian Abumseli's computer, and I'm gonna just call him Christian, right? So prosecutors allege that they logged onto the computer after his death without permission. But the Clenneys' attorney argues that since Courtney also shared the laptop with Christian, that she was authorized to use it. And by extension, so were her parents. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm married. So I think I can say this, so hopefully without it being controversial. But my wife and I share a bed, right? We share a bed together because we're married. So I'm just going by what the Clenneys have said, or well, what their attorney purports. Does that mean that my wife's parents also have access and can lay claim to our bed? Do they even want that? In a recent interview with TMZ, the Clenneys defended their daughter and themselves, going as far as trying to help justify her deleting the man, using the big black man trope. You know what I'm saying? He was big, he was black, and he was just flinging her around like a rag doll, and she didn't have any other choice, you know, by gum. The fact that people still use and get away with that sort of excuse, to me, it just further proves that they know that there's a prejudice against black people, and they have no issue in weaponizing it to justify their daughter's crime. Well, at least these people for their daughter's crime, but other people have no problem using it in their own issues as well. It just seems like, you know, the Clenneys just want their daughter home. Here's a fun fact. I'll bet the Abumseli family wants their son home too, but they can't even wish for that because he's been unalived by Courtney. You know what? Here, real quick. I heard that some people in hell also want ice water. So please tell me that you're on your way to deliver. Anyway, they now have to defend themselves in their own case after being arrested just 2 weeks ago. And to me, that's some good news that we can report. I mean, because honestly, the case is like a puzzle with pieces scattered all over the place. On one hand, you have a young woman claiming self-defense with a fatal stabbing, and on the other, you have her parents accused of tampering with potential evidence. Now, the Clenneys' attorney appeared in court just this past Monday for a hearing, while Courtney Clenney's murder trial hasn't even started yet for her 2022 unaliving. But she does, however, have a hearing coming up this Friday, so we'll see, and I'll definitely keep you guys posted. But until then, Courtney remains incarcerated at the Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center in Miami, held without bond, thankfully, which was denied in an earlier Miami-Dade County hearing. So that's about all we know for now. But I'll ask you, what do you think of Courtney's self-defense? Have you seen the videos of her abuse? Have you seen what she did in that elevator? Is this possibly another Amber Heard crying wolf again? If not, why not? And if so, why? And what about these parents, bruv? What about these parents? I mean, I guess I can see where she gets it, but damn. Now, I told y'all that I was gonna share, and so with that, I'm about a 3 physically still, but I'm working on it. I know why I'm feeling like a 3, and I'm putting some work into starting back at 1, like the song said. Mentally, I'm at a 1, but it feels like a 4, if that makes sense. Not because of stress or anything like that, but because I'm taking a lot on right now, and I'm actually excited about it, all of it, if that makes any sense. And but that's about all I'm gonna say right now. So, but financially, I'd say I'm still at about a 2. Spiritually, I'm at a 2 or a 1, depending on the time of day. I mean, not perfect by any means, but I'm aiming for peace, whatever that looks like for me, because for me, it might be different than what it looks like for you. But with that said, this has been The Black Man Show. Once again, this is your boy 7 Blackman inviting you to peep out our merch found at theblackmanshow.com. You can get you one of these. This joint came out very dope, and I gotta say that the actual looks much better than the pics. I don't know what happened, but who knows? By the time you guys see this, it'll be different. But I'm just saying, I'm very happy with how it turned out. Please be sure to hit the like, hit the subscribe button, share this video with all your peoples, your friends, your enemies, and your mamas as we continue to grow this thing out. Now, follow the show on all the socials at Show the Black Man, where you can send whatever clips that you want to this black man to react to. Or you can just drop me an email or drop me a line at tbs@theblackmanshow.com and put at the subject line, Ask a Black Man. Now, be on the lookout. This Friday, doing another fresh episode of Ask a Black Man. So y'all be on the lookout for that one. Thank you all for watching this far. If you like this one, please get caught up on some of the earlier episodes all around here. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. So please, until next time, take care of each other and check in with somebody who cares about you. It ain't gotta be me, but just check in with somebody. Peace. And I'm out.